minute, getting away from NBA talk. I'm going to talk about something more serious, something that affects our community as black people. To be honest with you, some of y'all going to be mad on this video. But you think I care? You think I give two about it? First, we'll start off by saying my prayers go out to the Wilson family, the parents and family members, aunts, uncles, cousins, siblings of Caleb Wilson. And this thing really hits close to home because this young man is the same age as my son, and he has the same name as my son. Also, my son is a college student. He's a junior in college. So this thing really hits close to home. And it is funny to me how in our community, we got all this smoke about Black Lives Matter, about police brutality, and all this, and this senseless crime, gun violence in the streets, and all that stuff. But we don't want to talk about how these fraternities and these sororities killing people, killing our youth in these pledging, hazing rituals, demonic, might I add. And I got a lot of proof to back that up. And one of these days I'm gonna do a video, probably more on my other channel, where I use history and talk about how I got out of that mindset, how I was trying to pledge to a fraternity in college and even at the grad level, a fraternity that I fallen in love with and really wanted to be a part of, and and the big bro, they wanted me. You know what I'm saying? They gave me the green light, the thumbs up. I had the sponsors, I had it set up. But every time I got ready to pledge, it's like God protected me, keep me from getting into it. And but this whole thing, I was gonna be Greek. I was gonna be Greek all the way. I promoted Greek, even when I wasn't in the fraternity. I always supported it, and I used to encourage people to get in fraternities, and they got into fraternities. I pulled some strings, talked to some people in the fraternity because I was in real good, even though I wasn't a member, but I had family members that were, and I still got friends in Greeks, and I still love them. But the way sometimes I feel like, if you want to get somebody involved in an organization, there are certain things you shouldn't be doing. And this violence is just senseless. I understand why every time in our community, when we do anything as a rite of passage, why we can't just challenge people's minds. Why we got to put hands on each other, be violent. I can't tell how many times I turn on my computer and I see all this with two black people fighting and somebody's holding the camera. Yeah, get them. And they laugh and instead of trying to intervene to help somebody got a camera. But that's just that's also a system that was created to make us, oppose one another. It wasn't all our fault. But somebody has to change this. Somebody got to stand up. One voice can be heard, voice, two voices. If you're in these organizations, first and foremost, you need to get out of them and repent and turn to God. But if you're in them, don't be so reckless. Be responsible if you're gonna be a part of something like this. Better, tighter regulations. They tell you, oh well, we're a non-hazing organization, but then you turn around and you're non-hazing, but you look the other way when something happens. And that's a system that they have condoned repeatedly. And now, unfortunately, until the senseless violence, we've lost a young 20-year-old African-American man at HBCU, might I add, historically black college university. We got to be more responsible and not be reckless like this. It was no that young man to lose his life after being, according to reports, they went to a house, and that's what they do when you go to, they call it set. You go to pledge or you go to a certain place in the middle of the night, an undisclosed location. They tell you go there, they line you up and pretty much play mental and physical games with you all night long. And this was no different, and they just went too far. According to reports, they were going around punching these young men and punched him in his heart, punched him in his chest. And I guess he had a attack. I don't know exactly what happened, but he fell on the ground, he convulsed. And here's the biggest issue I got is when people don't take responsibility. Oh yeah, sci-fi. I told you I'm the Q dogs, what they call themselves. The Sci-Fi Fraternity Incorporated, founded in 1911. In Washington D.C., Howard, all this. I know all about these Greeks. Like I said, that culture. I was trying to get into a fraternity, so I know who the Divine Nine are. And so they line him up, torturing. And, they hit the guy dies. They take him to reports. I can't confirm or deny this. According to reports, he was taken to another location apart, and instead of getting him immediate help, they just going through, just like that movie Burning Sand. Same thing happened in that movie. And they come up with this huge, elaborate lie, to explain why, he died. Now, instead of getting him help, they don't want to be held accountable. And according to reports, I know for a fact they've made one arrest, and I'm hearing they made another arrest. And no better for them. They need to. These young men need to be held, and I say that, I use that term very loosely. Need to be held accountable, but I can't blame just them. They had that done to them when they got into fraternity. The line before that did the same thing. And years of physical, emotional, and psychological abuse. There's people that have had to go through counseling because of some of the things that happened to them when they were online. Have lost limbs, have lost their lives. People are medical conditions. People have wheelchairs. All this stuff, and nobody is talking. Everybody wants to be quiet and don't want to say nothing. But it's time. But that's the problem. That's what has lost his life, because people continue to be silent about it. Well, that was a fraternity house. I had this one dude I know who was Greek when I was about to pledge, and we were going through the kind of pre-pledging where they kind of already plays with you, but they ain't really laid hands on you yet, but they talking crazy to you. There's one guy telling me every house is differently. I can't speak for somebody else's house, and that may be true talking about the frat house, but at the same time, if you all one, so we all one organization, and it's silly though, that would happen, and it just like, if somebody like, hey, if one of us falls, we all fall. That online they're set. If one person don't quote the Greek alphabet right, they don't say the founders right, don't they get dealt with? But why can't one fraternity house, if they screw up, why can't all the rest of them get that same smoke? So, y'all critical. If you're going to be real, be real. It's sad. Unfortunately, this young man lost his life. My prayers, my thoughts go out to the family of Caleb Wilson. And we got, as black people, we got to stop being hypocritical. We doing black on black crime, black on black violence. We got smoked. Every time the police do something, then we rallying against them. When gangs do stuff, we rallying against them. But yet you got your college students on campus acting like thugs and hooligans. It's no different than gang violence. All right, y'all. This your boy, Brandon Love Sports TV. I'm out.